2, 1. Hey, what's up, everybody? Monroe Mann here. There's an echo. Am I hearing myself through your speaker?
Let me turn my phone down, see if that helps. Say something again.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Is that a little better?
Much better.
Sorry, I'm deaf, so I got it turned up real loud.
All good, all good. Hey, V. Hey, good cat. Nice to see both of you there.
I can put my Bluetooth in, see if that helps.
That might make things worse.
Let's
So
see.
we'll see. But in any case, my name is Monroe Mann. I am a YouTube live streamer. We do comedy, music, improv, political events, current events, all that jazz. And we have special guests, such as this gentleman here who's going to remain as VPirate, wants to remain quasi-anonymous. And VPirate, has some of you have known, has been a part of the channel for a while, and said, hey, I would love to be a guest, and here we are. So we have a few similarities. We were both in the military. And apparently what I want to start with, though, is, well, first you can tell us a little bit about yourself, but then I want to just talk about the fact that you said you used to be a TikToker. And so
Yes.
we'll get into that. But why don't you just give a little introduction and let us know, in a few words, who are you, where are you, and what brought you here today?
Well, I appreciate you having me on here, Monroe. I mean, I've really enjoyed finding you. Before we get too far along, I want to say hi to Mr. Goodcat. We got Carly in here. We got V. So thanks for joining us tonight. For all intents and purposes, I'm V Pirate. You can just call me V or
Up and can't, and he just disappeared.
sorry,
Oh,
my night meds. I have meds that I take for my PTSD, so they're just going off telling me that I need to take my meds. So
I think it knew that you were going to be on my live stream, and it knew that there was
yeah.
about to be a lot of post-traumatic stress induced by being a part
Yeah.
of this.
Well, give me a second while I grab this out. But I am in Texas. I am 40 years old. I'm a veteran soldier, veteran law enforcement, father of 3 kids. Um, I am a machinist. I work in like the oil and gas type stuff, doing kind of like it was my dad's business. I started working for him initially, and then eventually got on to now work for the competition, making twice as much money. And the silver lining is the company that we were working for is going out of business.
I think the audio was better without the Bluetooth. I think the audio on the phone is probably better because it keeps coming in and out. Let's try that and see if the audio is any better. While you're working on that, welcome to everybody who's joined. If we can get to 10 likes, we'll get a bronze medal on the YouTube live stream Olympics. I want to thank V for kicking things off with a $1 Canadian super chat. Very, very much appreciated. And this is V Pirate, and he is. We're going to start by talking about the fact that he used to be a TikToker, and then he got off and left and is no longer a TikToker. And I just wanted to ask him a little bit about what was your experience on TikTok? Why did you become a TikToker? How did you gain some success? I know you said you made certainly a few $1,000s by doing that, and then you bailed out and said, I don't want to be a TikToker anymore. And are you smoking on this live stream?
It's just it's cold here. You see your breath sometimes.
I don't want to see that again. That's bad news. You can't have smoking on a live stream here. It's the Monroe Mann PG channel. Oh my gosh. I think your goatee is on fire. I think it's smoldering. All right, so tell us about TikTok. And by the way, thank you guys for joining us. Hope you'll click subscribe. Hope you'll click like. And this is V Pirate. He's going to tell us about what he did on TikTok.
Well, it was about 3.5 years ago. My friend Scotty actually got me hooked onto TikTok, and he was like, just create something, just do something. So then I started doing like some of these, like the lip syncing, singing videos, and it just kind of branched out from there. Everybody has to find their niche, like what they like to do. And I kind of like, I would start out in the mornings doing like singing videos, cooking, and then like later on in the day on my lunch break, I would have like kind of just sitting around therapy, like talking with friends, doing relationship stuff. Um, I mean, dad jokes. I like my dad jokes.
Can you give us a dad joke right now? Let's show us that you are who you say you are.
Oh, well, you know, I heard that sometimes when chickens stop laying their eggs, it's because they go into henopause.
Terrible dad joke. Terrible, terrible, terrible dad joke. And by the way, I was talking to V and Good Cat yesterday. Also, a whole bunch of people. We were talking about how funny the YouTube algorithm is. And I did a live stream yesterday with some music, and I had just 3 concurrent viewers, 3 to 7. Now suddenly there are 35, now 22 people in here, and we were talking like, I bet when we do the interview
Yeah,
with
I see
with
your numbers have gotten up pretty good.
yeah, I don't know. I don't like this YouTube algorithm. It's really, really annoying. But we're not talking about the YouTube algorithm right now. We're talking about the TikTok one. How long were you on TikTok before you got off?
Um, I was kind of off and on for a couple of years. I did notice that you can get a lot of followers really quick if you do like the follow for follow trains. I got hooked on those and I started creating some videos. So like basically you follow someone else, they follow you, I mean you can create a following really fast. It may not necessarily be like a
Hi, Luffy.
like a true follower, you know, they're just people that are just following each other just for the sake of following each other, just to get the numbers up.
Hmm.
But I mean, from there, I started doing a lot of lives. I did lives at work. I mean, I kind of showed you the other day when you video called me, so you see like a little bit of the work I did.
Yeah.
People watching me in the machine shop. Some, you know, just depends on the live. Like the lunch lives were good. You know, coming in, people just talking about whatever. You know, I kind of let the viewers pick what they wanted to talk about, discuss that day. Just kind of like open forum. A lot of the ladies liked watching me cook and sing in the morning times. Um, you know,
And what? And you said you made. You said people were just. I don't know how TikTok works. Did you have to formally apply to get monetized? Because you told me that people were sending you money during
no, I
TikTok.
mean,
Hi, Jamali Davis. Great to see you.
like I think on here how you have to get monetized and you do like super chats, but like on TikTok, like they people just send you stickers, and depending on the price of the sticker, it was just like money that was just going into the account. And I tell people all the time, like, you know, don't send me money. Like I didn't want any money. I was just there doing it for fun and getting to meet people. And I mean, a majority of my followers probably came from, or I'd say half of them came from like the follow trains. And then just the rest of it just came organically over time, more and more people coming in. And I would say on average, you know, I mean, it's kind of like it is here. There may be 20 people, and then sometimes there'd be like 50 people. But you know, even with like hundreds of thousands of followers, even like I said, they're you know follow train people. So how much of a follower are they? Were they really?
So you had 200,000, 300. How many followers did you have?
Anywhere probably between 250 and 300,000.
Do you? I know you're not on TikTok now. Do you think if you went back to TikTok, is it easy to get up to that again, or have
I've
things changed?
I've heard that they have tried to kind of put a stop to the whole follow trains, so people like you know try to get true followers. I don't know. Like if you use certain hashtags or if you say certain words, they kind of kill the video or whatever. So if they figure out that you're trying to do a follow train,
Okay. And what was now you said you made a few $1,000s on TikTok.
I
I
mean,
mean, so many.
you asked me one day like what was the most that I had made, and like I actually had like one girl send me like $1,800. Um, the most I had at one cash out was I think like 3 or 5 thousand is what I told you. But on average, I mean, I probably got like 100 or maybe 200 alive.
Wow. Now that's fascinating. So here, this is how life works, ladies and gentlemen. This guy, VPirate here, goes to TikTok, just want to do it for fun. People are sending him $100, $100, and he's saying, "Stop! I don't want your money, please. I don't want any money." And he's making maybe 1,000, 2,000 a month. Here, I want your money, and I ask, and I'm saying, "Hey, I want to do this for a living," and I find that I don't again, I don't know if it's just I mean, YouTube Live is relatively new. I think in the last 4 years.
Well, I do think that YouTube is a little different from how TikTok works. And I know you said before, like you don't want to just get stuck doing like one or two things. Like you want to kind of like have your, you know, variety. And I mean, that's what I tried to do is like, you know, I didn't want to just be stuck doing nothing but like dad joke. I mean, I see some guys that do videos that do dad jokes, but it's like it's okay to see their stuff in the feed every once in a while. But if you like were to go to their page, it's just like the same thing every video.
That's the discussion that I was having with the good cat on the live yesterday when I was playing my music, and I know. I have a feeling that if I just did the exact same thing every single time, I would probably have a. It would be easier time to grow the following because people would know exactly what to expect. But to me, I think it's just really boring to like as you said. I mean, you can't just do dad jokes every single time, and that's all that you're known for. That's it. VPirate is only known for dad jokes. Not can't even do any pirate jokes. I mean, unless the pirate is a dad.
Be like, well,
Angeli, how
who
are you?
are you?
Good to see Angeli and Carly. Go eat dinner. Good to see you. And you said you might want to go back to TikTok or start a
I
YouTube
I
channel.
have
Is that
I have thought about going back, but I don't know. I mean, I got off of all social media for a long time. It kind of put a bad taste in my mouth because it got so big and it got to the point where it was causing problems in my relationship. I mean, we're going through a divorce now, but
Mhm,
at the time, like, I mean, there was just all these women that were like constantly coming at me, even in the lives. Like, there'd be times where she's there with me and they're just like being rude. And like, I'd have to have my moderator shutting them down, or I'd have guys talking to her. And I'm like, we're obviously married. Like, right here. I mean, we used to do couples lives together, and my son is really into Legos, or at least he used to be back then.
mhm.
And the Legos are freaking expensive. When we got these like giant totes that we found at garage sales, and these old ladies were like, $5, and I'm like, that's like hundreds of dollars of Legos. But we did this live, like it was like I don't know, like a 10 episode live thing because it took so long to do it. But I got a tarp across the whole like living room floor. We laid out all the Legos and we were like sorting them all out by color. And like people were just sitting there watching us, sort out Legos. You'd be surprised how many people come in just to say hi and talk and ask us what we were doing.
So, seeing what you know about, you've seen me and what I've been doing with YouTube Live, and also drawing on your experience as a former TikTok live streamer. Which, if you were to start again, which one would you want to create create your account on?
Well, I mean, I haven't been on TikTok, so I don't know. I'd have to go back and kind of like reevaluate it. But I mean, I don't mind YouTube. I watch YouTube, and that's how I came across you. And I
Hmm.
could see the frustration, and I see it's a little bit harder from what I've known of TikTok before. But I don't know if it's the same now or how much it's changed. But the big thing for me is just I I like doing stuff, but I don't want social media to just become my whole life because I was so absorbed into it. It became toxic and then it affected my life. I mean, I had a fan literally show up at my house and she's like, I found you. Like, hello.
Yeah, that's always a concern. I mean, I keep doing the lives, and every once in a while, I'm going out, and it is kind of concerning because I think eventually, if somebody wanted to, maybe they could watch every single one of the lives when I go outside and figure out where is this guy living. That could actually uh, be a
Hey,
concern.
Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Told you you'd get to see my mug.
So this is you get to see. We didn't get to see your mug. We just see a goatee and a head. Where's
Yeah.
the mug? Okay. Um, oh, by the way, I don't want to disrespect V because I want to put here. Wait, here, V. Oh, V kicked things off yesterday with one, and V is now
Oh, yeah. V sent $1 earlier. I see that
oh,
now.
$1. I'll tell you this: this is the first time that I've started a live stream, and as soon as before I go live, there's already a super chat there. So, V, that was a first. I didn't know people could super chat before
Yeah. I think he
somebody
super
goes
chatted
live.
like immediately.
So that's pretty cool. It gives me something to look forward to. Maybe my goal is I'd like one day to show up and there are about 47 super chats and there's $100 just waiting there for me, like a like a treasure chest at the end of the rainbow. Like, oh wow, like Christmas time. You open up the live YouTube and there's $100 of super chats already there. So V Pirate, switching gears. what is what was your experience in the military?
Um, well, I can tell you definitely looking back on it, like I would have like done my medical part differently because going into the military, first off, I almost scored like a perfect on my ASVAB, and they told me that I could literally be anything I wanted to be in the military, and I wanted to be like one of the guys that created all the new weapons and armors and vehicles, and they told me, well, we don't have a spot available, and I was like, well, like an idiot, I was like, if I can't make them, I want to shoot them. So I literally went into the infantry when I could have been anything, but I really did like it. But I mean, there's so many issues I'm dealing with now with the VA, and they're like, "Well, did you go to the doctor for it during your service?" And I'm like, "No, I was in the infantry. We didn't go to the doctor for anything."
Yeah. I actually I've been thinking, like, I honestly want to contact an attorney who specializes in veteran disability claims, because I have this. I don't know if any. I should probably shouldn't mention it, but now that I do, you guys are going to all notice it. This side of my neck, it has a twitch constantly. Maybe some of you have already noticed it. If you haven't, you probably will. And that's nerve damage caused by the body armor that was on me every single day for over a year. And I think that's a disability. I mean, look what
Yeah.
I'm doing now. I'm making money doing YouTube Live, and I've got this twitch in my neck, and they rejected my claim for disability frame. And I'm like, excuse me, that was caused by my body armor,
Oh,
and I
you would
wouldn't.
you would think certain things are common sense. It's like, oh, you're in the infantry. Of course, you're going to have back problems or knee problems or hearing loss. But the VA is just stupid with stuff like that, and you would think it's like it's not like it's coming out of your pocket. Like, I mean, pay the soldiers what they need.
Do
But after this live, I'll send you my lady's contact. Her name's Miss Betty with the DAV. She can help you out.
you think she could help me put together a renewed claim?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm 20% disabled. And for those two things, for those of you watching who don't know about the American military, he mentioned the ASVAB before. That stands for Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. It's basically the SATs. The SATs are to get into college. The ASVAB is to get into the military. And the higher you score, the better the job that you can get. And I agreed. If any of you are watching, if you do not agree, do not believe anything that any of the recruiters say. And if they say that this is what your job is going to be, you get that in writing before you sign anything on a dotted line. And you make sure that the contract says this is your job and this is what you're going to. It's just like any negotiation. And the recruiters are just salesmen, and they just get paid for every car they sell, and you're the car. And if they can sell you into joining, they don't care. And they're going to say, hey, no, look, you signed it here. There's no guarantee that you get to go to this school or this school and this school. So I'm the same way. I wish I had done things. I mean, I think it's life. You look back, and I kind of want to wring the neck of the people who say, and they say, what would you like to do differently? Like Kamala Harris, when she had the opportunity, said, looking back, is there anything that you would do differently? And she said, no, not that I recall. Nope. Golly gee willikers, Batman, nothing. And I'm thinking
Full of shiitake.
yeah, it's just absolutely absurd. But there are people who say, you know what? There's nothing. I'm like, liar, liar. Stop
Everyone has
pretending that your
regrets.
life is so perfect and that every decision you've made has led you down the primrose path, and you were
I think
everything's
about stuff
wonderful.
like that all the time. I'm like, if
Thank
I
you,
could just
Jamie.
go back to this age with my knowledge that I have now, or stuff like that, or I wish I hadn't have done this, or if I'd done that. But
I could fill a book with all of the things that I wish I had done differently. But it's funny, and I wish I could be a little bit less hard on myself. I think a lot of my regrets in life, my depression, my whatever, my emotional insanity, it's it's the price that I've paid for taking so many more chances than most people do, and trying so many things, and I've accomplished a million things. And unfortunately, I don't focus on the things that have gone super well. I focus on the things that went poorly. And I don't think I'm the only person in that regard. Those people that say, oh, is there anything in your life you'd like to change? They go, you know what? I've been blessed. You know what? I hate that. I hate when people say I've been blessed. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I go, so you've been blessed. So what? I've been cursed? And then I'm with at this old immigration law firm I really want to say it out loud, but I'm holding my tongue, because everybody should know what a terrible place this is to work. Very very successful
oh,
law
I,
firm.
I have no problem throwing people under the bus like that. My old job was Warren Equipment Company, and the sub company was Global, so I have no problem throwing them under the bus. Like, they were a shit company, and
I'm
they just went out of business recently. So
Oh, it would be nice if these guys want to. You know what? I don't want them to go to business. I just want them to recognize the error of their ways and to apologize and to treat their employees better. Because I'm glad that they're successful, but they allow the success to get to their head. Anyway, I spoke. I sat down one time. I was really excited about working there because I thought, wow, these guys are going to become my mentors. They know I'm a lawyer. They know I'm a YouTuber. Their YouTube channel has 300,000 subscribers. I'm thinking, wow, all the things that I've always wanted to do in my life: create a really successful company, create a successful YouTube channel. Uh, they were there, and I'm thinking, wow, here's my opportunity. And the co-owner was talking to me on Zoom, and we were having great rapport for an hour. This and I'm thinking, oh, this is great. And then I get there, and I end up in a meeting in the office with her. And I said, I just kind of asked. This was about 2 or 3 weeks after I started working. I said, look, I've been here for a few weeks. I really love the place. You do a great job running it. Blah, blah. Can you tell me, like, what do you why do you think the company has succeeded? Like, are there some of the what are some of the things that you've done? Because I'd love to learn. And she said, to be honest, the Lord has just blessed us. And I'm not making fun of Christians or people who believe in God. I said I am a Christian. I'm thinking, but that is one of the most insulting things that somebody could say. Oh, I've been blessed. So basically, for 25 years, I've been failing and struggling because God is not blessing me because I have done something horrible. I mean, that's the thing, is that if God blesses some people, that means God curses other people. But isn't the whole thing of that God is not bestowing, like we have free will? You
Well,
believe in God?
two things on these
Yeah.
the kind of things you're talking about here. Like I totally understand. Like, I look at my life sometimes, and I used to be a little bit more envious in my younger days of like people, because I mean, I have friends that I went to high school with that are now like world traveled millionaires type stuff. But then on the other side of the fence, I have friends that are still smoking weed sitting on their mom's couch, like doing nothing with their life. And I look back on my life, and yeah, I've made some pretty bad decisions, and there's times where I probably could have gotten in a lot worse situation. So as far as how my life's gone, yeah, it could have gone better, but it could have gone a lot worse too. So I try to be grateful with what I have, but I also, being a
No. What was that? Was that something with military, or I have no idea what that is? It looks
no,
familiar.
Norse pagan.
No, you're a Norse pagan.
Yeah, but I believe in the sisters of fate, so I believe everything happens for a reason. Even though I was in the military, even though I was in law enforcement, like it, I don't. I feel like people are like, "Oh, well, that's a dangerous job." I feel like that doesn't matter. Like if you had two timelines going along, and this one I'm in the military, this one I'm driving for Uber, I would have died at the same time, like in a car accident or in a shooting. Like, I mean, it's just
Mm.
I feel like
Now
every,
that is a fascinating
see, I feel
premise.
like it really doesn't matter. Like when it's your time, it's your time.
When it's your time, so you can't avoid danger no matter what you do. So if the person joined the military and immediately got drafted for Vietnam, I guess, excuse me, they got drafted to Vietnam and then died 9 months later in the jungles of Vietnam. You're saying that even if that person hadn't been deployed, somehow that person would have.
Yeah, if they weren't overseas and died in a war, then they would have died here in the U.S. from something else at the same time,
Okay, let me.
kind of like Final
This is interesting
Destination type
philosophy. I
stuff.
want to say this from just thinking like statistically and all this stuff. I mean, World War II had so many casualties, and Vietnam had so many casualties. You're saying that if they didn't, I'm just trying to understand what you're
If
saying.
they weren't serving overseas,
You're
they
saying
would.
that there would be suddenly a huge increase in car accidents because if they didn't go, like, why it would be weird to have the same number of people die just as natural causes or of car
If
accidents.
illness outbreak, you know.
Hmm. Oh, I see. You're saying that it could have been, then there would have been a pandemic or something like that.
Yeah,
All right, that's interesting. And it's funny, you can't even if what if it, because we don't know what would have happened if World War II had
right.
never broken out.
But
Maybe
yeah,
World
the
War
other
II.
thing I was going to bring up, since you talked about religion, I mean, I kind of feel like people put too much stock into one or the other. Or it's really funny to me when people don't believe in God, but then they want to blame the devil. It's like, oh well, the devil's after me. He gave me cirrhosis. Be like, no, dumbass, it's you've been drinking for the past 40 years. What did you think was going to happen? Or people are like, oh, God's blessing me. And it's like, no, you did this. Like, you do good stuff. Good stuff usually happens. I mean, there are times where bad stuff happens to good people, But I mean, I feel like you reap what you sow. I believe in the sisters of fate. They guide us and give us signs, and you got to kind of prepare yourself along the way. Sometimes the path is jagged, sometimes it's straight, and you don't have
Mhm.
a choice. But you know, that's kind of
That's interesting philosophical chat we're having here. We'll come back to that in 1 second. I want to say, just look in the chat. That's right, V. You started the party off right. I appreciate that. And Jamie, thank you so much for your $1.99 contributing to the cause. Burn Thy Priest. Ask him if he has read the TM 2000 training manual for the military.
I've read a lot of training manuals. I actually used to have some old training manuals. Actually, there was something I forgot to get it out of my military stuff earlier.
Yeah, again, before I got out of the military, I took home so many of them. There were training manuals on intelligence gathering, training manuals on how to drive a Humvee, training manuals on wayfinding and how to use a compass and getting through the forest and things like that.
I'd have to dig it out of the garage. I meant to grab it, but I have like a soldier's handbook, kind of like your infantry 101 book from like 1917. But I did have this I wanted to show you.
Bring that in closer. That looks like some type of money.
It's an Arabic Arabic
which
$10 bill.
which country is that from? Saudi?
I got that while I was in Iraq, but the way the money flows goes back and forth. It says the Arabic. This one's Egyptian dollar bill, $10 bill.
Let's see it again so we can all see what an Egyptian. I guess that's true. There's that's the pyramids right there. The little pyramid with the lion on it. Very interesting. You know what's in a weird way? It sort of looks like an American dollar bill. The kind of the floral design around it and this and that.
It almost looks like Monopoly money to me.
Or that. Or that. Burn Thy Priest says, don't forget the Book of Job. Oh yeah, the Book of Job. I'm constantly. I always feel like my life is Job, and I felt like my life was Job in my 20s, and then in my or late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, early 40s, late 40s. I feel like, when does my Book of Job end? When does the last few pages of Job happen to Monroe? It's not the Book of
remember in the
Job. It's the Book
military
of
they taught us
Roe.
you're supposed to embrace the suck.
Oh, I guess I've been impeding the progress of the Book of Robe.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I embrace the suck. I like that Jim Carrey movie when he talks about at the end where he's God Almighty, Bruce Almighty, and that he's trying to control everything. At the end, he says, "In the rain, I submit my will to you, God. Whatever you want me to do, I get it. I mean, and finally, that's when God comes down and goes, "You're released from this torture." And sometimes it's hard to just say, I accept that I don't know anything, that I can't control anything, and whatnot. How you doing, Pip Maple? Nice to see you. The Burn Thy Priest says it's from 1928. Why would you ask if we've read a training manual from 1928, Burn Thy Priest?
Now, this one does not say Federal Reserve on it. It says the Arabic Republic of Egypt currency note issued under law 50/1940, 10 piasters. I guess that's their dollar bills over there. It says Minister of Finance.
So wait. There's English on the Egyptian money.
Yes, there is. And then there's whatever that is in the front. Like, I can't read that part.
Interesting. Huh. JD Leader says to live is to suffer. Yeah, that's the essence of Buddhism. And I go, well, where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in life if to live is to suffer? I guess you could argue the other side that you can't experience joy unless you know what suffering is. And did you have glasses on a second ago?
Yes.
It's funny. He went from being like a four-eyed nerd to being a very handsome supermodel. Did you notice that? He's a
Thanks.
he's a good-looking guy over here. If you take off your glasses, look at that.
Hey, but I can't see very well.
That's okay, but we can see you. Oh no, what? You got to get new glasses, man. I just realized that the glasses can make or break somebody, and those glasses do not bring out your. I don't know what it is. What is it about? It covers up something. I think it's your eyes are pretty, or your nose, or
Oh, well,
something.
shucks.
Yeah, well, it is, and I feel like when you put on those
I don't
glasses,
know
it
if you can
kind of.
even see my eye color.
Okay, now you look very freaky. Now, yeah.
Now,
Um,
my kids actually, Gavin and Brooke, or Gavin and Madison, have like real brown eyes, but my daughter Brooke, she's the only one that has my eyes that I have like a brown and green swirl with a little bit of blue streaks in it.
okay, he has a brown and green swirl in his eyes. Who looks at the mirror too much? Uh,
I, whatever that color, it's like brown and green with like bits of blue. But my daughter Brooke, she's the only one that has my eyes.
oh, hey, Burn Thy Priest wants to know if it says Federal Reserve on the Egyptian money.
Yeah, that's what I was saying something a
Oh,
second
that's what you're
ago.
in front of that. Jay Dealer says, hi, everyone. Pip Mabel says, if God is a plan, then what relevance is there in prayer? Yeah, Pip Mabel, this is the big philosophical conundrum I have constantly. I believe that God gives us free will. But if
Yeah,
God gives
the
us free
conundrum of free
will,
will, and if everything's just already predestined.
yeah, and so like people always say, some of my friends go, Monroe, don't worry, this is the way it's supposed to happen with your life. God has great plans for you, and this is the path you want. And I'm thinking, so then why don't I just sit on my bed and let everything just happen to me? And if it's supposed to happen, I'm mad. I'm just gonna sit down, and then 2 weeks from now, there's 400,000 subscribers on here, and every day, and I get super thanks without even doing YouTube Live anymore, of $5,000 a month, and I go, wow, I did it, and I guess I was destined for this. So I find it's a very difficult thing because it's come. You know what's funny? There was a book. I read a lot of these books about that, about trying to prove atheism wrong and proving Christianity and different religious thought philosophies and theories. And they say that if you ask the question, do you believe God gives you free will? Most people who believe in God say yes. And then if you ask them in a different context, do you believe everything happens for a reason? They will also say yes. And what's weird, I believe both of those things too, but that's almost impossible. And that's kind of what you're saying, Pirate. Yeah.
Yeah. I know like another thing that kind of goes like hand in hand with like the whole religious talk. I know when people start talking like evolution, I don't really believe that in like the evolution in the sense that like most people think, oh, we came from monkeys type thing. I feel like I believe in evolution in the form of like adaptation as you adapt to your environment, because there been studies in like animals and creatures that like say they lived in a swampy area or a wet area, they slowly developed webbing in their hands and stuff like that. Like I mean, and humans, we've traveled the world, and people that you find in Iceland are not the same as people that are in Africa, but they're still human beings. Like we have adapted to our environment. So I believe in like adaptation.
That's the thing. I'm in these biology classes now. I dissected an earthworm yesterday. That was the
Oh,
lab,
fun.
which was fascinating. I should probably I'll maybe post some of those photos up on my community thing here, and then I get banned from YouTube for posting a gross anatomy of an earthworm. But again, I mean, I was flabbergasted with this thing is tiny, an earthworm, very very small, and we cut it open and spread apart the sides of it. Oh my gosh, there's a heart.
How
There's
much is going on inside that tiny
Yeah,
little
when I
creature?
say heart, quote unquote, I mean, but there's so many things going on in there, and all these different veins and the the nerves, I'm thinking, I find that really hard to believe that this just magically happened and that it just happened
Yeah, I
from.
mean, I feel like it takes more faith to be an atheist than it does to. I mean, I've actually been in like 7 different countries and 40 different states, and I've seen all different kinds of religions and cultures and stuff. And I mean, Christianity as a rule for like being a person is not bad. My problem with Christianity is with God Himself. I feel like He either just doesn't give a shit about us anymore, or He's dead. Like that's where I'm at in Christianity. Now, I mean, there's some religions like Mormons. It's like, oh, well, there's 7 heavens and 7 hells, and no matter which one you end up in, you can work your way up. And if you get to the 7th heaven, then you become a god and do it all over again. I'm like, whatever mushrooms you've been taking, like, please share.
Yeah, it's I'm kind of torn in the same way. The more it's so weird. so many people who study biology and scientists are atheists, and they like the whole thing of evolution, the whole thing. I just think it's like, why can't it be, why is it that you're making this theory? There has never been any proof that a species turned into something new. It's just speculation. Looking at the fossil record, looking at the fact that there was webbing there, why couldn't God have created two different species, one that had webbing on their hands and one didn't?
Yeah, that's why I said there's like adaptation, small changes, but just to say that like a fish turned into a wolf, like no, like just
It's the same thing like with Cro-Magnon man, and looking at that. I mean, apparently Homo sapiens, I think it's 200,000 years old or 80,000 or something. It's not that many, but apparently there were these ancestral hominids, and they say that that was our ancestor. But again, why couldn't there have just been another creature that had a very big skull? I mean, what if it just happened that there were like that this whole bunch of people all just had big skulls?
yeah.
I mean, there are some people that I mean, look at it, if they saw people. Look at we have little people now, quote unquote midgets, but little people, right?
V with
If
the wolf bass.
the wolf bass, exactly, V. Yes, the wolf bass. I think if you saw the fossil record,
Not to be confused with the catfish.
see, I knew you had to come up with one right on the spot here. Isn't that interesting? If you saw those little people, dwarves, and you would think that those are two different species of human. It's like there are some that are on average around like 5 feet to 6 feet. And then you see some of these folks who are like, there are some people who are like 7'9" or 8 feet, based on the same thing that I feel like they've been doing for all these years, these scientists.
Well, it's
They would
interesting
they would
too with
classify
science
three
when
different types and go, clearly the average person was the one that survived. And you'll see scatterings of this other species of these very small people that are around 4 feet. And then all these other people who are 9 feet, but the survival of the fittest was the one. I'm like, no, they're constantly these.
I
Anyway, go
mean,
ahead.
would you call it evolution when it's like this breeding out? Like, I mean, I've heard scientists talk about how supposedly people with like freckles and redheads are just genetically being bred out of human like the genome. Like, I mean, so
Mhm.
if all these short people are killed off, or they keep mating with like taller people, it's like so we just have less short people.
Yeah, the only thing I know is that studying science is supposed to turn me into more of an evolutionist. The more I do this study of biology and dissecting, and this next week, next Tuesday is the fetal pig, so we get to dissect a pig. I just think this is uh, unbelievable. This to me is proof that there is a God, because I don't think we ran this randomly just happened. The evolutionists say, well, no, of course it's crazy because miracles could happen over billions of years. And I'm thinking, and I don't know. I think I was talking to V the other day on another live stream, and the fact that it was Chad Kimball. I think it was Chad. Maybe it was both of them. There are over 200 to 400 million planets in the Milky Way.
I think you were talking to Chad about that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I mean, that's just bonkers.
See, to me, that's like when you start branching into that part of science and religion, like people talk about, oh, well, there has to be a God. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you can't just dump a bunch of phone pieces into a box, shake it around, and dump out an iPhone 17. Doesn't work the way. Yes, I feel like there has to be some type of divine creator. Now, from that point on, if you want to call it the Christian God or whatever, like then you might get more into the details. But as far as like a space goes, like when I talk about this, sometimes people think I'm like crazy. Now, if you take like this whole science fiction stuff out of it and like conspiracy, when you start thinking like aliens and stuff, it's like, oh, so if God is so powerful that he can create everything like in the never ending foreverness of the world, but oh, we're the only planet that has intelligent life. Like, how asinine or big headed or self centered is that? Be like, oh, so we're the only ones. Now, I mean, I don't know what kind of life would be out in the universe, but I mean, I don't know that they're like spacemen and spaceships, but
Well,
I
let me
mean,
let me
there could be
interrupt.
some
Let me
kind
just
of
ask this:
bacteria life, sentient life on other planets.
we know that the universe is constantly expanding. Do they know where the origin of the universe started?
What
We
was
don't
it?
know.
13 billion light years away, I think. 13.5
So
billion
the
light years.
universe did not start somewhere in the Milky Way.
No.
I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, that's crazy too.
Like, we are not the center of the universe. Like, and honestly, like, the way I look at it is if there were such sentient life out there that they could travel the universe and pass by us, it would be the same as us walking by an anthill. We're not going to sit here and stop and stoop down and try to talk to them. And I mean, there's a book. I want to say it's called The Alien Picnic or something, but they talk about how we find this stuff here on Earth sometimes, and it's like, what's this crazy thing? It's like, for all we know, it could just be like their empty, monster can or something, whatever their like energy
Well,
supplement.
I want to go back to the the fact of like, are there aliens out there, other life forms? But one second, I just want to catch up on the chat messages for everyone here. And Pip Maple, God loves our attention, says JD. Still kicking, JD. How are you? Says Jamie. Burn Thy Priest, says Hazel. I guess those are your eye. That's your eye color.
Yeah.
Jamie says, a pastor in my church described it like this: there are two paths. Along one path are gifts and blessings, and you miss out if you take the wrong path.
See, but taking the wrong path,
Yeah.
if everything happens for a reason and it's all God's plan, maybe, like, I mean, so I
And
mean, I get into the thing of like, well, what's the point of doing, like, is there any point to life at all? Like, is everything that was going to happen anyways?
And again, Jamie, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about my former boss, and I asked her, what are some of this? What do you attribute the company's success to? I was looking for actual decisions that were made, not just, oh, God just bestowed upon me a very successful multi-million-dollar law firm. I don't know how it happened, but I am blessed. And I just feel like, Jamie, so you're saying that I don't have gifts and blessings because for the last 25 years, I've taken the wrong path wherever I've gone. I have no wife, have no kids. I have no super best friends. I have no super successful company. I've been struggling for more than 18 years as a YouTuber. So, I mean, is that because I took the wrong path by serving the country, by deciding to help my mom and my dad? I feel like all the decisions I've made, I've tried to make the best decisions. And why, if that were the case, again, I'm not saying I've done the best I can. Am I missing out on gifts and blessings because I'm
Well,
cursed?
I mean, Monroe, I think that's all that's all we can do is just try to do the best we can each day, and you got to live and accept you make your choice, you accept the consequences, you reap your rewards, whatever it is. And I mean, it's the people that want to sit here and like wish wash and, oh, I didn't do that, or I didn't, like, no, own up to what you did. Like, if you did something good, then hopefully something good will come out of it. If you screwed up, say you screwed up, learn from it, move on. Like, I mean, that's just how I view it.
What scares me is if you look back in history, and I mean history, centuries and millennia, there are some extremely talented, amazing people who only found success after they died. And I think Pablo Picasso, is that, or Van Gogh?
Yeah.
One of them. I mean, he is a world-renowned artist now, and yet back in the day, he was not respected. And there are others who were ridiculed and this and that, or they were very, very successful, and then Susan Powder. I don't know if you remember her.
I don't recognize the name.
She was back in the 90s, early 90s, so she had this fitness empire. And she was the king of fitness infomercials. I guess in the day she was the Mr. Beast of fitness infomercials and made tens and tens of millions of dollars. And because she made poor decisions by hiring finance managers who completely took advantage of her, and because she made the poor decision of deciding I'm the artist, I am not. I don't need to focus on
I
the
mean,
financial stuff.
sometimes people are not good business people. I don't know if you ever watched the
Well, hold on.
show.
Let me finish this.
Go ahead.
So, I I didn't know this until I read the story, but there was an article about her that she lives on Social Security now, and she lives in this tiny apartment. Uh, all of the money goes to all of the other people that took all of the rights from her, this and that, and it's just like, what, what a shame that. I kind of feel like I don't want to believe that. Oh, she was blessed. If someone had asked her, someone said to her, oh, when she was at her zenith, oh, she's blessed by God. That's why she's so successful. And then, but now today, oh, so you're saying now she's cursed by God because she's living on Social Security in a tiny apartment? I don't feel like God bestows wealth and success. And then people say, why did I get through my cancer? Because I'm blessed. I go, then why did the child of 9 years old die of leukemia? Because that child was
Well,
not
it's
blessed.
like somebody mentioned earlier, Job. I mean, they said Job was blessed, but then God took away everything from him. So I mean, who's to say? Like, I mean, they say God works in mysterious ways. He does what he wants. I mean, I feel like God's a fucking dick, but
Watch your language. I want to keep the language PG on here, but I can see the emotion in his. I was more worried about the language before because I thought it would get me booted off, but I do know that the advertisements can get restricted if depending on how many things are in there. So you be good.
I'll try to censor myself a little bit.
Don't you try. You do it, soldier. Would you say I'll try, drill sergeant? No. No. Yes, drill sergeant. And on this live stream, I'm the drill sergeant. Got it?
Yes, Drill Sergeant Monroe.
That's right. It's Drill Sergeant Mann. Did I say
Yeah.
you could address me by my first name? I don't think so. Um, so, Jamie, what would your pastor say to that? I'm curious. If you go to church next this Sunday, bring him that quandary and say, I mean, just again, it's I believe in God. I just don't understand it. But again, as my friend Sam said to me, well, if you understood it, you'd be God. Because you're not supposed to understand the universe. You're not supposed to understand everything. The part of us that wants to, this is my feeling. Why do we have ambition in life? It's because we are made in the image of God, and God wants perfection. And that's the part of us is we want to create this perfect life, whatever that is for us. But the human side of us is vain, problematic, sinful, all full of ourselves, and that's where the ambition gets stymied and down the wrong road. Let me say, pretty good, Jamie. We did that in biology. Jamie's talking about the worm. How are you, V? Says JD Leader. JD says it's far too complex and fine tuned to be an accident. Agreed. Spiritual V says I'm great. Thanks for asking, JD. I'm glad you guys are bonding in there and saying hello. JD says V still struggling with anxiety and depression, but it's getting better. JD, we
We were just discussing this earlier.
Yeah, I was talking to VPirate here earlier before we got on the live stream. I really believe more people are struggling than they let on. I think everybody, and I don't think that I am alone in my confusion about what I'm doing with my life and the decisions I've made. And I just think everyone else lies about it. I think everyone else lies to themselves. They lie to everybody else, and they just got so good at it they actually believe life. When you see that in movies or this or that, where the person or the TV show, the person's living the whole life, blah, 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 and then finally says, "Please, just tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. No, everything's gonna. Please give me a hug. Tell me the truth." And finally, oh my God, you're right. I've been holding it in for 10 years, and my God, my wife and my kids. Oh. I mean, I feel like that is.
I mean, I believe everyone has their breaking point, and people have their different perspectives. I mean, what may be a big deal to me may not be a big deal to you, or vice versa. We all
feel things differently, and I try to constantly remind myself that there's other people that are going through worse things. I have people tell me all the time, "How are you still holding it together? I'd have gone nuts by now." And like, I kind of feel like, well, I don't have a choice. Like, no matter what's going on in my life, bills still got to get paid, kids still need to be taken care of. I don't have the luxury of breaking down. Now, there are times where I have broke down or I feel like I'm about to lose my mind, but I feel like I have to keep pushing through. We talked about it earlier. I feel like there's times where people need medication or need counseling. I feel like in this day and age, too many people just try to shove pills down their kids' throats instead of actually being a parent. It's like, well, not
Well,
everyone needs to be
well,
on pills, but some
you,
people
you
do, and
shouldn't.
there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes people have to swallow their pride and go, "I need help."
So sometimes you need to swallow the pill. Sometimes you need to swallow the pride. I
Yeah.
like what you did there. I like what you did there. Yeah, I have a mixed feeling about medications and this and that, and I've been on some medications here and there over the years, and I've never been on one that made me feel better. They always just make me feel groggy, or they make me feel more off kilter and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean that's what was important for me when I talked to my psychiatrist about my medication. I just wanted it to be a clearer, happier version of me. Like, I don't there was one med that I was on, I was just like constantly walking around like zombie mode, zoned out. There was one that made me like even more aggressive. There was one that it just like flatlined my emotions. Like you could say something to me, and it's not that I was being like an a-hole or nothing, but it was just like you'd say something, it was like, okay. Like, there was no happiness, no sadness, no anger, like, everything was just dead, and I told him, I was like, "I don't like that, like, I feel like me off of medicine is not good, but I need to be on a medicine that can stabilize me so I can be normal, whatever normal is."
Yeah, and I find that that's the problem with a lot of these medications. They remove the you, and they put someone that is not you. And it's like, what's the point of a medication if it turns you into a different person? That's kind of bonkers. JD Leader says, Monroe, if we compare ourselves to millions of others, though we are rich, but what is rich? And like I
Oh,
said,
what is it? The, comparison is the thief of joy, something like that, I think is
oh,
what the thing.
that is wise. Comparison is the thief of joy. I like that. And as I said, like the people, if when they do happiness studies, people in Africa are generally, by and large, happier than people, let's say, in the United States, and they've got significantly less
I
than
used to have a
we.
saying. I'm trying to remember. Was it the "Don't let the demon of fear rob you of your future joys" or something like that? But basically, people were like, "Oh, well, I think this is probably what's going to happen if I try to get this job, or I think this is what's going to happen with this person if I get into a relationship." So people will like not do something in the fear of what could be. I'm like, you're killing yourself before you even give yourself a chance to find out either way. Which I mean, to me, it's like I do not have a problem being very forward with myself. I'm very blunt. Like, I mean, it's like, oh, I like this person, so I'm gonna say something, and people are like, oh, they might reject you. Like, okay, so I'm not with someone. I asked her out. She said no. Nothing's changed. Okay, I asked her out. She said yes. Now I got to put in some work. Okay, I don't have a job. I'm trying to get this job. They say yes. Now I got to put in the work. So like I don't understand why people fear or like hesitate over rejection. It's like just take your shot.
I was just reminding me of this quotation. I finally looked it up by Mark Twain. I've suffered a great many catastrophes in my life. Most of them never happened, and I think that's very very funny. I think wait, that's not the. I think that's not the right one. I think it's I've no. I think it's I've known. I've had many catastrophes in my life, some of which actually happened. I
Yeah,
think that's the original one. And oh no, here it is. I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually
yeah. You sit there and you play the scenarios out in your head. And I am guilty of that. Like sometimes when certain situations happen, I go down the paths and I think of like worst case scenarios. I'm like, how could this possibly go?
You know what? You know, I just realized. I think with what's going on with the YouTube. YouTube only sends. It seems like YouTube sends a big surge of people to the live streams now in the first like 10 minutes. And
Yeah,
then it
we had
flatlined.
like 25. Now we got like 7.
And it keeps going up. It goes 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7. The question is, are
8,
those
6,
people
7, 5.
are they, that's right, Jenny. I'll call you Jenny from now on. Are those subscribers who are just finally coming in, or are those random people that people are that who are finding me on the I think what maybe Good Cat said the other day, he said that when I first was live streaming, he would cycle through the live streams and it would only be 10 or 11 and then it would come back to mine. He said he thinks there are so many more people live streaming now that you will never come back to the same one. So because YouTube is trying to
I
promote
mean, if
everybody.
you were just to like go to like a live channel and then just start swiping, I mean, I've done it before. We're just seeing who's out there and what people are doing, and there are so many people. The technology age that we live in. I mean, think about today versus. I mean, just go back one generation. Just go back 40 years, 50 years. I mean, how many more people do we have with a freaking screen in front of their face nowadays, or hooked on a social media account? There's the joke about, why you don't see any post on Facebook about the Dallas Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. It's because the last time they won the Super Bowl, Facebook hadn't been invented yet.
Um, that's funny. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the world has changed. By the way, we have 9 people in here. If anyone's new, we just got 10. We got 10 likes, so we're at the bronze medal. When we get to 15 likes, we will get the silver medal on the YouTube live stream Olympics. We'd love you to subscribe to the channel. My name is Monroe Mann, special guest VPirate. What I do on this channel, we do comedy, music, obviously guest interviews. I play original songs. I play cover songs. We talk politics, current events, psychology, law, and more. So J.D. Lee says, it says in the Bible, it's much harder for the rich man to make it to heaven. And if we look at the time scales of eternity, the lifetime is nothing. Our riches may just be in heaven. And I agree with that. You know what I think? I kind of wish it's in the United States. It's very expensive to live here.
Yeah.
You need to
Well,
survive.
you
Like,
said you're in Florida, right?
yeah, I moved down here because I thought it was going to be less expensive than New
Do
York,
you
but
have
now it's more
you have
expensive
a
than New
one
York.
bedroom, one bath since you're there by yourself?
Yeah,
How much
and
is it?
mine is about 1,800.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Well, yours is um what, more expensive, I guess, than mine, because I'm looking at a 3 bedroom, 2 bath that's 1,800.
unbelievable. See, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. My
Come to
life would be,
Texas.
honestly, I really think, you know what I found out? I think
Come to Texas.
Texas, apparently in-state tuition in Texas for medical school is something like 4,000 a year or something like that. Is very, very, very affordable. I imagine the competition to get accepted is very high as well. But I've noticed a lot of schools now are starting to make, like MIT just made tuition free for anyone who has a family income less than $100,000. And I'm thinking that's a lot of I don't know. Maybe everybody's
Yeah,
making
I
hundred
did
thousand
go to
dollars.
college for a while, but I went through a real bad divorce, and it kind of like killed those dreams, because after military, as we were talking about that earlier, after military, I wanted to go into law enforcement, and I wasn't sure if my military like skills and experience would have been enough. So I actually went and got an associate's in criminal justice, and then I was working at a state prison for a little while, and then I got picked up by the feds, and I went and worked for the feds for several years, and then my family was like, "Well, you have your GI Bill. Why don't you go back to college?" And I was like, "Well, if I go to college, I want to do something that I want to do." So I went back to college. So I got the associates in criminal justice, bachelors in kinesiology, bachelors in health and wellness, and I was working towards a doctorate in physical therapy and chiropractics. But I'm also was also I mean, I'm sure it's expired by now, but I was a cryotherapist, personal trainer, martial arts instructor, firearms instructor. I did all that stuff.
What do you mind sharing which federal law enforcement agency were you with?
Department of Justice. I was part of maximum security and medical transportation. So, like, I'd pick guys up from like the the top of the line prisons, federal prisons, and transporting them back and forth between prisons, taking them on medical trips.
That sounds fascinating. Did you ever have any difficulties on the transports?
Nobody ever gave us problems on the transports because there's two officers. One officer is hands-on with the inmate. The inmate is chained around the waist, hands, and feet. That person does hands-on. The other officer has a gun, stays at a reasonable distance away. Um, they're locked inside the van. One person transport for medical trips. For larger trips, it's like a big bus, and they transport them or they put them on a plane, stuff like that. But
Did you ever go on a plane, or were you strictly ground transport?
ground transport.
It's funny. I was just watching this TV show a spy TV show on Amazon Prime or something called Citadel or something, and I just watched. There was one scene that took place in Lugano, Switzerland, where I used to go to college and where I graduated from, Franklin College, Switzerland. And nothing's ever in Lugano, and no one knows Lugano. And all of a sudden, I saw they were in Lugano, and I saw them driving on the streets of Lugano, and and then suddenly there was this huge shootout, and it's boom, 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 like machine guns, boom, boom, and it just hurt. I mean, that's never going to happen in Lugano, and I
Yeah.
just realized that doesn't happen anywhere in the world. The only time that happens in the world is in actual war zones. Can anybody name a time when there was an actual movie type shootout where three espionage agents are against four criminals and they're all just shooting back and forth and people?
Okay,
And
I grew up in like parts of Texas. I mean, I've traveled all over, but I literally have seen like shootouts in the neighborhood where people just roll up, start shooting, or run out of the house shooting. So I mean, I've seen some stuff like that, but not like your movie scene, like agents on the street or police.
like the only thing I saw, I saw this one thing recently that apparently this was in 2019. There was a robbery. Some guy and he took the UPS truck, carjacked it. He started driving it up Interstate 95, I guess, and then it was going up towards like Cocoa Beach or something like that or whatever. And there was a huge shootout with the cops. And apparently, I don't know the exact details, but I think all cops were brought up on manslaughter charges. And I think they killed the UPS driver who was
Hmm.
a hostage through their reckless shooting of just massive amounts. And so there are sometimes these shootings like there. So that does exist. That did happen, and that was a crazy, crazy scene. But it's, I mean, the closest things you have these unfortunately these mass shootings like in Las Vegas when they had that thing at the outside there, but it's usually like one lone gunman and stuff. I mean, what, like you said, when is it where like with all these agents and there's a million shootouts and people and rockets flying and I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I've
I'm
seen some
glad it's not.
crazy, I've seen some crazy stuff in the military and law enforcement, and I mean, I'm sure you have. I mean, there's probably certain things we can't talk about here on YouTube Live. I don't know if they'll get us canceled or censored, but there is some stuff I could probably tell you. We would rotate every 3 months in the prison, and when I first got there, being newer, I didn't always get like the best shifts and or positions, and I got put on front lobby one time, and like I'd also worked the housing unit, so I knew this one inmate from the housing unit, and he was getting out soon. Then I was like working the front lobby, and he left, so I got like tell him bye, and I was like, keep your head clean, like don't come back here, and my 3 month cycle wasn't even up yet, and he's like already like walking back in with the marshals, and I'm like, "What happened, man?" He's like, "Well, basically he was Shawshanked," and I'm like, I don't get that. Like in our technology nowadays, like people, I'm sorry, like I used to work in a federal prison. People seem to think you go to prison and it's like it's horrible and they're rotting away. Like no, they have 1 man, 2 man air conditioned cells with TVs bigger than mine. They have iPods, they have 3 meals a day. They have college classes. They work. I mean, it's almost like going to college, but you can't leave and there's no women. Or it's kind of like that. What is it? That movie, the new guy. It says the stuff
That,
you want, you ain't getting, and the stuff you get and you don't want. But
it sounds like my college career. Actually, I couldn't leave, and I had no women.
welcome back, Carly. But
Hold on, this is a good point to just catch up on
yeah,
some messages. I think
catch up real quick.
This is Jamie and Phil Blessed, and I'm laying here sick and alone. I hope you're feeling better, Jamie. You're not alone. We are with you. We are with you. And feel better soon, Jimmy. Thank you. I'm getting there. Burn thy priest. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. True, true. Burn thy priest. They got me on some pills, says JD, and you're feeling better. Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that. Ego makes it hard to handle rejection. True. V, what game are you playing? Says Good Cat. And JD says ego and pride are our biggest enemies. I've heard. Ego is okay. Thank you, Ronnie Rousseau. Ronnie Rousseau says ego
Hmm.
is gay.
Yeah, this guy though, as I asked him what happened, and he said he literally walked into a bank, and from being in the prison, they study, the law library all the time, so he knew what he had to do to go back to federal prison. He went up to the lady and had a knife, said, "Give me the money." He walked out the door, turned right back around, walked back in, gave the knife to the security guard, gave the money back to the lady, said, "Call the cops, tell them to come get me." Because he knew if he had a weapon and he walked over that threshold, it became a federal crime, and they sent him right back to. And I'm just like, why? And he's like, I just couldn't do it on the outside. He's like, I just, after being locked up for like 20, 25 years, it's just too much of a shock for him. And I'm just like, it's not like it's 1930 anymore. I mean, you have the internet, you have TVs. I mean,
Yeah, it's the same thing. I worked as a public defender for a while, and it was time and time again the same people would be coming back, and they don't want to. They can't function. It's the same thing with the military, and in many ways, I kind of feel like my problem is I cannot function well in a boring, silly civilian job. I can't do it anymore. I was in the military, and it was high speed, and it was adrenaline, and it was crazy. I've tried, and I struggled through doing regular jobs, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I'd rather you send me back into a Humvee in Iraq, and I'll risk getting blown up there.
I
than
do
have
have
to
some
go.
pictures here for you, like from Iraq. That that's from a sniper's nest where I'm just chilling there trying to look cool. That's one of our bases, one of the guard towers there. So that's kind of for the viewers like what Iraq looks like. That's looking outside of basically looking into the city of Baghdad. Um, that was my Drill Sergeant Campbell.
He's so young now. Okay? Well, back when I was there, I was very young too, and I'm thinking, I bet my drill sergeant, like back then, was probably like a young kid, like of 26 years old, and it's like now I'm 47. I go,
Yeah,
scared of that?
that's me on a Bradley. They're there with my crew. Uh, See us flying in on the helicopters.
Those are some of my best times in Iraq, going on the helicopters on the
I don't know if you can see this building, but that's a building after we shot it, like over here and over here. We shot it from both sides with rockets, and the building didn't collapse, but it almost did.
If it were a building here in the United States, it would have collapsed in a moment's notice. I've got some more comments here. Starfield recently, otherwise Cyberpunk. I'm not sure what V's talking about there. Oh,
I've
video
heard of
games. Video
I've
games.
heard about those games. I thought about trying was it Cyberpunk, but I'm kind of taking a break from video games because that was like my ex's thing. She was really into anime, really into video games, and it just kind of got like a sour taste in my mouth right now. So like I haven't played video games since like October 5th. I don't really want anything to do with it right now. I've given away most of our stuff that we had together.
Stay strong, my friend.
Yeah, I'm trying.
More comments here. Humbleness and contentment are the major players in life. Pit Maple, I don't think I have a big ego. I know that. But I also, in many ways, think I am humble, but I don't have any contentment. And so maybe the lack of contentment is the fact that maybe I'm deluded in thinking that I'm humble. Maybe I'm full of it.
Since we're talking about these comparisons of similar words or words that people misuse, it reminds me the other day you had a live, and it reminded me the kind of conundrum when you talk about like jealousy and being protective. Because to me, like jealousy is wanting something that is not yours, but being protective is taking care of what is. So, like to me, like when you're in a relationship with someone, you definitely don't want to be with someone that's you know, like too jealous or like untrustworthy. Like I mean, some women don't like that as a turnoff. but like at the same time, like you need to protect what's yours. Like I'm the type of guy, if I'm out with my woman, like I'm gonna let her, be a grown ass woman and like, try to take care of herself. Now, if she gives me the look or whatever, and like I'm gonna come over and be like, look, she told you, enough's enough. So I'll give her a chance to like set stuff straight, but
So you you let her flirt.
no, not let her flirt, but like you give the person the opportunity to defend the relationship. I also feel like when you're in a relationship with someone and you're out in public, no matter what, you should never show division because there's always that person that's going to come up and be like, "Well, she shouldn't talk to you that way," or "I can treat you better than him." Like, no, like if we're out in public, like I may not agree with you, but I'll take your back, and then once we go back home, I'll be like, "Hey, babe, you probably could have handled that a little better," but that's something that could be discussed privately. Otherwise, people are going to be like, "Oh, I can see that there's something going on between them."
Hmm. Interesting. I always find it funny when if you're looking at a girl and there's a guy there, and this doesn't happen often to me, but the guy will go, "Hey, what are you looking at?" And I go, "The hot girl." And then they're like, "Hey, it's my girl." I go, "Good for you. All I get to do is look. You get to spend time with her and actually talk with her." The girl always goes, because she's like, but it's like people are funky.
I mean,
Amen.
people can look, but it's that point that people take it too far sometimes.
That is true. What's up, Ronnie Rousseau? Good to see you. V says I would though. Okay, talking about games here. Call of Duty. The police unloading on an unarmed suspect becomes an acorn landed on the roof. Yeah. Hello, Carly. Good to see you. And then Jamie says it gets better. VPirate took me a good 2 years to get back to being myself. I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm
I
still
have
recovering.
wondered how long it's going to take me because I think someone said one time it takes twice as long to get over a relationship than it did. So I'm like, what? We were together 10 years, 5. So what is? Am I just screwed for the next 20 years? Like, no, like I don't think so. Like, I plan on giving myself around a year to 2 years, and then I'll see how I feel. Like,
And I don't know. I disagree with that because I'm still getting over this relationship that I was in for 10 months back in 2011, and it's now maybe 15 years, and it still bothers me.
she hurt you that bad?
I would say so, yeah. But I messed it up too. She hurt me, but after I hurt her, and then it was
Yeah,
too
I mean,
late.
I told you a little bit of my situation, so I mean, I feel like my soon-to-be ex-wife, which everything should be finalized in December, but I feel like she has hurt me in a way that no woman has ever have, and I mean, she just ripped my heart out, and I mean, I kept trying to fight for the relationship, but after recent events, which I'd rather not get into, you already know, but I mean, after learning what I did about her, I'm just like, whatever fire was left, it just snuffed that out. And I mean, I'm over her, but I'm not over the hurt, like the loss. I'm mourning the relationship, and I'm just trying to figure out how to put my life back together. I mean, that's my whole focus right now is going to the VA, getting my mental health, getting my physical health, being here for my kids, going to work every day, and just moving past her.
Hear ye, hear ye. I hereby declare, you shall be over her before. I was trying to think of something that rhymes with declare hair. Ah,
Okay, Jamie says she was with her ex for 22 years, married for 18. I'm glad it didn't take twice as long, I guess, to get over him. But it's hard to tell from the tiny pictures. But she says 22 years. She only looks like she's 22.
Jamie is 94 years old.
Oh, just my type.
Jamie is 94 years old. She's turning 95 tomorrow. And
See, I've joked about this with my brother. I said at this point in my life, I just need to find me like a 75-year-old sugar mama that's like, I'll just give her the best 5 years of her life. She'll pass away with a smile on her face. It all feels the same in the dark. Just give me that money and I'll move on.
that's not a bad relation. That's not a bad deal. But both people getting something beneficial from it.
Oh,
Uh,
she said she's 43. I'm 40.
you're not 43. Jamie likes to pretend she's 43, but she is 94 years old tomorrow. Carly is not 352. Carly is a 55-year-old fat Norwegian man from
Oh,
Oslo.
yes, yes.
From Oslo, right?
That is right. From Oslo.
Curly is the old fat man from Oslo. This is the problem.
Pit Maple says Sam Kinison put it best. A man has never made me want to drive into a wall at 90.
Okay.
Wait, can someone explain that to me first? Drive into a wall at 90 miles per hour or at 90 years old? A man has never made me want to drive into a wall at 90. See, I don't. You have to clarify. I don't know.
I don't know if they're talking about the age, but talking about that, it just reminded me. So, what is the worst thing you have ever said? Like, I know everybody always says something at the end of a relationship, and they're in pain, but that comment there about wanting to drive into a wall reminded me. I know this is going to sound really bad, but when I divorced my second ex-wife, because she actually cheated on me and was pregnant with her boyfriend's baby, and then I told her I wanted to get a divorce, and then she almost acted surprised. I'm like, "What do you expect me to do? Like, stay married to you while you're pregnant with his baby?" Like, but eventually she asked me. She's like, "Why do you want to divorce me?" And in my quick wit and sarcasm and pain, I was like, "I would rather um, grow accustomed to your absence than have to endure another moment of your presence."
Oh, that's good. I'd rather endure your absence. No,
I'd
no.
rather grow accustomed to your
Oh,
absence
okay.
than have to endure another moment of your presence.
Wow, you guys heard it here first. That's amazing. I'd
Yeah,
rather grow accustomed to your absence than endure another moment of your presence.
yeah. After I said it, I was like, that was kind of
Mm.
harsh, but
That's how a lot of people feel about me and my YouTube channel, apparently. They'd rather grow accustomed to my absence than endure another moment in my presence.
okay. I tried to
Okay.
give you an uplifting comment the other day, but you seemed like you were kind of off. And
What was your
I
uplifting comment?
well, I was trying to tell you that you're awesome and you're a great guy. Like, I mean, I really do
Here's
think.
the thing. I don't care about that. I know that. I know that I am awesome. I know that I'm a good musician. I know that my songs are good. I know that I'm funny. I know
So
that I'm
why do you
smart.
let it bring you down, whether or not
Because it's
there's
like none of that
nine
has
or
brought
90
me, it
people?
hasn't taken me anywhere where people with far less talent, far less ambition, far less dedication, far less patience have skyrocketed to massive, massive
Well, I mean, circling back to
accolade.
the beginning of our whole life here, an hour and a half ago, like, I mean, we talked about TikTok versus YouTube. Maybe the problem is not you. Maybe the problem is YouTube. Maybe there's other platforms out there such as TikTok, or I don't know if there's other things out there, or maybe you just need to get out there and do like um, like go to a local, stand up or music venue, and
No, we've been talking with that. I was talking with you guys with that yesterday. Talking with V and
maybe you would be more successful on TikTok than you would be on YouTube. Maybe you would just,
oh yeah, Hawk Twa is a good example. Yeah, V, 100%. I mean
Okay,
that is.
I hate stuff like that. Like, you got people like Monroe here that are awesome guys that play music, or I see these lives where there's this guy, the paper engineer, this old grandpa looking type dude. I love watching his stuff. He can make anything out of paper. I seen this guy paint stuff. He can paint something that looked like he took a photograph. But these people, they don't get any likes, they don't get any views. But then you got some girl that says something for 10 seconds about Hawk Tua, or you got these girls up there shaking their butt and they get 5 million views. Like, yeah, I know it's mostly us guys' fault and we're sexual human beings, but seriously, like, it drives me nuts sometimes that there's all these creators that are striving like yourself, like you're this talented, amazing person, and but you can't seem to get any traction. And maybe maybe the problem is not you. Maybe you're just running in the wrong pair of shoes. Maybe you need to get off YouTube and get on TikTok or get on something else or go out to your local bar.
Maybe it is, but I was telling this. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been in the performing arts since I was, well, even when I was in high school. Uh, Professionally starting to do it during my summer of my sophomore year of college, 1997. So I was like 19 years old. I've heard all this before, and I get it. How many times do I have to keep trying different things? Oh, maybe, and I'm not criticizing you. And you're telling me it's good advice. it's just exhausting when people like Hawkwa didn't even try. Wasn't even and did something stupid, and now she's got talk show interviews. She's got this. She's got
Yeah,
millions
she
of
makes millions
subscribers,
of dollars.
and it's just and look. I mean, all these people coming onto this live stream here. I mean, look now there are 9 people here. I keep checking to see did I get any new subscribers, and no, not one new subscriber. 80 minutes, and there's probably going to be about 150 views. It's like couldn't even draw in one new subscriber. And again, we're going back to the same old stuff. I keep talking about it, but it's a broken record, but it's annoying. It's annoying me because I've been dealing with this for so long. Over the summer, 120 people, 150 people watching. And on one live stream, I'd get anywhere from 10 to 70 new subscribers. Also, I've realized something. YouTube every week tells me how many new subscribers I'm getting. And at the end of every month, it says, congrats, this is how many subscribers you got. It's not a net, doesn't say this is your net gained. This is how many subscribers you got. So maybe I got 75 new subscribers in November, but I've lost maybe 60. So I've only actually gone up by whatever, 12 or 15. Just occurred to me that, and I was trying to figure out why every month is it telling me that my subscribers are going up by about 75 or 80, but my subscribers numbers doesn't really look at it because I did gain that many, but I lost almost as many as well. And YouTube's very sneaky about that.
See, and it's just stuff like that. It's like I remember the frustration and the grind, trying to be on social media. So like that's part of the reason why like I think about it every once in a while, but I'm like, no, do I really want to have to get back into it? But I did want to say, V said here, 1997, I was 12, eating deer jerky, playing Super Mario Bros. So it made me think. I was like, okay, where was I in 1997? I was 13, so I guess I'm a year older than him. See, where were you in 1997, Monroe?
I was at American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. Between my sophomore and junior year. And it was I just finished the Washington semester program at American University in DC. Was back in New York for the summer. Went to American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and then that fall is when I went to Switzerland for the first year as a junior there. And yeah, it's I don't know. It's just Barbara says you have a really great
Yeah,
family
I was waiting for a pause in your talk there. I appreciate that, Barbara. That's part of the Norse pagan stuff. I'm trying to grow it out as much as I can.
Oh, that's right. V is a Viking pirate. Is that what VPirate stands for? Viking pirate?
Actually, everybody always thinks VPirate is like something
Or
not.
is it Virgin Pirate?
No, VPirate is actually a
Venereal
nod.
Pirate.
VPirate is actually a nod back to the old PlayStation 1 Punisher game. Um, I don't know if you ever played Punisher on PlayStation 1, but if you put in the code VPirate, then you would get all of the weapons and armor in the game.
Ooh, very nice. All right, we got 14 likes. I guess that 14th like is from Barbara. Barbara gave a like.
Jamie says when she was, what was it? What did we say? 97. She was 16 and making poor choices. Actually, by the time I was 16, I already had my own house, car, and job. And by the time I was 18, I was a father.
Very impressive. Wow. So you're all set for retirement because your son or daughter is going to be able to care
Yeah.
for you.
And I got 5 more years left, and my youngest will be 18. So I'll be 45 and an empty nester. So, I mean, sometimes I wish I had waited a little bit longer, but I mean, at this point in my life, I'm like, hey, I'll still be young. I got me a motorcycle now. I can just take off whenever I feel like it. Enjoy my later years in life without kids.
Jamie says I waited for 17 for all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Hi guys. I'm Monroe. I'm still looking for a girlfriend, and I'm 47. Oh my god, 47.
Well, come visit me in Texas. I'll see what I can do. I'll find you. Like, you got to give me like some parameters.
Mhm. I don't think there is any parameters of a woman that you could find for me.
Oh, okay. Since we're getting into this, let me ask you, Monroe, what is something that is like absolute must have in a woman, and what is something that is like absolute deal breaker? Like, give me your two extremes.
They're the same. No gold digger. I I mean, the number one is like has to completely understand who I am and realize that I am unlike any other guy she'll probably ever meet. And every day, like there's no there's no mold in which I fit in, and it's a very unique person who will get that. Uh, and like I said, the big no is like I said is someone who is anytime on the dating sites and it says my love language is receiving gifts. I'm like, barf. You are so like, I'm so tired of them. Like,
Way to say you're materialistic right from the get go.
I know, and like so many, especially here in Miami Beach, is just terrible. I mean, like literally all these dating profiles, they say, "I'm looking for a traditional man who knows how to pamper his princess," and I'm like,
Well, maybe you should stop trying to pick up Russian women at the grocery store.
these aren't on the grocery store. These are on the apps. Like there is no hope for me. There's nowhere else. There's nowhere anywhere that fits. They're all terrible.
I
Carly
am
says,
in
"Don't
North
worry, me
Texas,
too,
by the way.
Monto." Monto. What was your nickname, Carly? Oh, Farty. That's right. You're calling me Monto, then your name is Fartley.
Oh yeah, I got that tattoo as well.
That says Fartley?
No,
Is that a semicolon?
semicolon.
What does that have to do with Fartley?
No, I just had my arm up here and I was like, oh yeah, I got that tattoo as well.
Um, Let me just see here. I'll be a grandma before Thanksgiving. Hey, Jamie, congratulations. I look forward to getting that good news. Dear Cat wants to know where in Texas you are.
Yeah, I'm in North Texas, and Jamie looks pretty good for being a grandmother already,
Mhm. She's not a grandma already. Stop jumping the
or
gun.
almost.
Um,
I'd give you a hug, Carly.
yeah, V says not Russian and doesn't own any Versace. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Um,
Carly just wants a hug. Hey, Carly. Hey, Buyer, can we both give her a hug? I'm trying to see if I can.
I'm doing good, Carly.
Let's see. My love language is alone time.
Okay, I actually do remember the love languages, or let me try to remember them. What is it? It's words of affirmation, time, acts, physical touch, and gifts. Am I right, ladies?
Yeah, yeah. In essence, a bunch of. But literally, that whole thing. I'm so furious. Whoever created this, as a psychological study, you guys know I have a PhD in psychology. I think it's interesting to categorize these women into these 5 different categories. Fine, but the receiving gifts one, you do not want to voluntarily choose that or be put into that category. That's basically saying you are horrible, selfish, egotistical, materialistic shrew. And I don't know how. I guess it helps. You know what it does? It helps gold diggers find sugar daddies. That's all it does. And it's like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
See,
looking for someone. I've worked so hard and I've got so much money that I don't know what to do with. So I would really look for a woman who I could just lavish praise and gifts on.
they say you're supposed to put yours in order, and really, it's like the top two or three are the most important. But to answer Carly's question, yes, the semicolon is a symbol for suicide awareness, and yes, I have tried doing that. Um,
You've tried suicide awareness? Is
yeah,
that what you've tried?
yeah, but mine is physical touch. Like I'm very, and physical touch is not always just sex. Like, yes, I feel like sex is important in a relationship, especially if you're in love. You should be having sex, like, but like just touching, like kissing, holding hands, cuddling on the couch. Like if I'm cooking in the kitchen and you walk past me and don't even brush your hand across my back, I'm gonna look at you and be like, hey, like what the heck? Like you can't even like slap me on the ass like something like, and you know my second one would be like
Well,
time.
ladies, VPirate is single and looking, and now you know he's looking for a woman who's gonna smack. Okay.
But I'm saying like time, spend time with me. So like that's my second love language. And like acts, like I work 10 to 16 hours a day and I have to come home and cook and clean. So like do an act of service for me. Like if I come home and like food's already cooked or laundry's already done or the yard's mowed, like that's one less thing that I have to worry about. Now, like the bottom for me is like words of affirmation and gifts. Gifts is my bottom. Like I hate giving gifts. I hate getting gifts. I never know what to get anybody. People give me stuff all the time and I'm like, "Oh, thanks. It's just what I wanted." you know. So, but like, and like, you can tell me, like, I mean, someone can say I love you or you're handsome or I whatever, and I'm like, yeah, but like, don't just tell me, like, show me, you know.
Also, again, that's that song more than. Actually, you know what? I just realized this is a song that I can play that I've not played. I don't think on any of the lives. I'm gonna play part of it really for you guys real quick. Based on this, this is completely inspired by VPirate right here. uh, Saying I love you is not the words
Words I
I want
want
to
to
say.
hear from you.
It's not that
Not that
I
I
want
want you
you not
not
to
to
say,
say it, but
but
if you only knew.
I don't know. There's a song. Oh, love me, hold me close, don't ever let
Let me
go.
go.
Wait, ever let me go more than
And words.
words. Anyway, no, but I'm singing that because he was basically saying it's not just about gifts and giving; it's about showing your love through more than words.
Exactly.
And you know what? You know what it is, and it's not. Here's the whole thing. A lot of people misunderstand me. Like when I say, "Look, I don't want to pay for a girl on a first date. I don't want to, just want someone who is expecting a gift every week or this or that." It's important because I want to know that somebody actually cares about me as a person. And if
Well, I mean, talking about first dates, like I don't do the normal type of dates either. Like, if I'm going to be spending some time with someone, like a lot of times people are very subconscious about themselves and don't want to eat too much, or they're subconscious about how they eat in front of someone. So like a first date, I might take someone out to like a coffee shop or like a little bakery, something small. We can get something there and sit. It's, early in the morning, and you have the rest of your day if it
I,
doesn't go well.
girls don't want that anymore. Like literally, they're like, "Excuse me, I've had girls these days like, I expect dinner."
My
No,
first date, I'm taking you out to a coffee shop. Second date, I'm gonna see if you can keep up with me. Like, we're gonna go do something fun. We're gonna do axe throwing. We're gonna be doing like paintball. Something like that. I'm doing something active to see how she does, and I may have my friends around to see how she acts around her friends. A third date is gonna be something like a little bit more, relaxing, romantic. Maybe like a walk through town, walk through an art museum. Going like through like little antique shops. Fourth date would be like having dinner at my house. Like, I would rather cook someone a meal. I don't really like eating out at restaurants because I'm 75% deaf, so I can't hear in a loud restaurant. I'm not the typical dinner and a movie type guy. I mean, if we're gonna watch something, we might as well just be cuddled up on the couch watching TV. Why do I want to pay, frickin' $30, $40 nowadays for whatever the movies are, to go sit in a dark theater, and it's like you're not even talking the whole time. That's why, like, I like doing the coffee shops. I like walking around parks. I like doing something fun and active. Like those things, if I do those things, it'll allow me to see that person's personality. Now, questions I may also ask them is, I've come up with a series of questions that really allow me to figure out what kind of woman or person this person is that I'm talking to. So I will say, hey, what is something that makes you sad? And if you are sad, what is something that I could do to make you happy again? So, like, that's something I might ask someone. And then I would ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And that goal for yourself in those 5 years, is there room for someone to help you get to that goal? And could that person be me? So, like, I've designed these like certain questions that are a little bit more deep, and it allows me to understand them mentally as well. So I get to learn their personality. I get to see how physical they are. I get to, kind of pick their brain. Just things I've learned along the way.
yeah. I'm trying to think like the best scenario. I guess for me, if I say a first date, something that we do, and there's no money involved. Number two, you can jump out of an airplane with me. Three, you become a guest on my YouTube live stream. I'm putting you through the Monroe Man.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Just
Well,
kidding.
I don't know, Monroe. You are pretty cute.
Well, hey, maybe there's a future for you and me. I've never thought about dating a guy, but maybe that's, some people have said this to me. Monroe, have you ever thought about maybe the reason why you're not doing well with women is because that you probably do better with guys? I'm like, thanks, but that's not improving the situation. I remember I used to be in some operas with New York City Opera at Lincoln Center, and everybody was gay there. All the guys were gay. I was the only straight person, and they would always come up when I was getting my makeup put on and go, Monroe, and they always say that you're in the army, and it was the don't ask, don't tell part. And they go, Monroe.
Okay, so Carly said, I know it sounds kind of immature, but I usually ask if you had a genie to grant you 3 wishes, what would you ask for? And I'm sorry, the military man in me reminds me of this thing I seen while I was in the military, and the guy says he wishes to have sex with the genie or some random crazy things, and the genie's like, okay, now there are 4 rules. That's not one of the things.
So now back to the story that you interrupted while I was talking. Bad guest. So I was at Lincoln Center, and I was in the military, and it was don't ask, don't tell at the time. And these guys would always come up to me every day and just go, Monroe, if you ever want to get out of the army, you just let us know. And they would go public with the fact that I was their gay lover, and I would get out.
Yeah, people are saying that there's a little bit of funkiness going on with your audio. I heard it a little bit, but I thought maybe it'd quit.
With whose audio?
With your audio.
Mine?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just it's very light. I was just kind of ignoring it.
Carly, yeah, I'll answer that same question. If I had a genie to grant me 3 wishes, I would. I think I would do everything to take care of my mom. That would be like the first wish, is to just solve all of these problems that are in our lives because of whatever. 2, I would be making $15,000 a month by doing 1 YouTube live stream a day for 2 hours. That would be the second wish. That would be awesome. And I'm doing all of the variety stuff that I do now. And number 3, and I guess it's a multiple wish, but I would like to have complete peace, contentment, and comfort in my life and in knowing God, and just kind of feeling like, hey, everything's good and nothing phases me anymore. I guess those would be my top. Did you answer what your top 3 are?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to finish yours. I was going to say I've actually been asked this before or thought about it when I was younger. And I still remember when I was young.
He's sitting, guys. Everyone in the chat is VPirate laying like he's on like a pinup calendar right now. Like
I'm trying to get comfortable over here.
VPirates of the month.
Draw me like one of your French girls.
Okay, go ahead.
But when I was younger, I used to say that I wish that I could have like the perfect Captain America body, like no matter what I ate, like just always stayed in shape. That I had a debit card that never ran out of money, and that I had basically this ability to where I like mimicry, where I could just learn like everything I wanted to like instantly.
Those are not bad.
But now that I'm older, like you were saying, if someone were to ask me today, then yeah, I'd probably wish that my family, like especially like my parents here, that they were in perfect health and that they were younger and could be living healthier, instead of having to deal with the medical issues that they're dealing with. I mean, hell, I wish I wasn't going through this horrible situation that I am right now with my ex and her legal troubles. I mean, there's a lot of things, I mean, I feel like it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with regrets, wishes and regrets. Don't that kind of go like hand in hand?
Yeah, 100%. I was talking to, I don't know if I was talking to somebody recently. I said all of my, I was on one of these live streams. Money can't solve all problems, but it can solve a lot of them.
Well, remember I commented on there, money doesn't solve all problems, but I've never seen someone holding $100 bill with a frown on their face.
Yeah, and I realized if I had just $3 million magically just put into my bank account right now, I'm good for the rest of my life. and I would invest that so well. My mom's immediate problems or it's like just everything is good, and I could just easily get on a plane. I could start traveling, doing YouTube live wherever I'm going, and then it's just about fun.
Yeah, I did
And,
want to talk to you about that, like how you came about the number of just like 3 million, because like I have thought about this before, and I'm like, okay, if I broke it down, like I don't think that I would need, you know, like $100,000. No, like how much money is life changing money?
oh, this
Like
is the
it,
thing. Is the fan?
maybe it's your fan blowing on the phone.
Let me let me turn it off. Is the audio better?
Yes, that is what it was. I
So I
turned
have
my
to.
phone down because I thought maybe it was my phone, but
So I have to suffer in the heat for you guys.
my fan's off.
No, not for you. For these viewers. Boy, they're very demanding.
But
You were saying?
uh, like what's a life changing amount of money? Like it. I mean, in today's economy and bills and stuff, say someone gives you $10,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money, but how fast can $10,000 go?
So
You know,
that the reason why I said 3 million, because you asked, is I could easily buy. I'm very good at real estate investment now. It's a very when it comes to long term tenants. I was just on the phone with a guy with a banker from ground floor about getting a DSCR loan, debt service coverage ratio, to buy another property. If I have 3 million, I could buy a bunch of properties, flat out cash, and they will cash flow immediately because there's no mortgage. The income that will coming in, I could be making easily 10 to 15,000 a month net income, and that includes the entire real estate empire having enough money for repairs, having staff, having all that stuff, and I just wouldn't have to work again because it's basically just expanding the company that we have now with me and my mom to a part where it's no longer just money on the side. It's actually providing enough income to just run my
I
life.
mean,
That's
yeah, I mean, I could see how $3 million, and like I get your plan there. Like, yeah, that would be pretty life changing, but let's see. Pip Maple was saying if today's generation decided that there is no future due to war, so didn't enter into the financial traps of life, what effect would this have on world banking? And Mr. Goodcat said $300 or $300,000, not $300, would be life changing. Just the ability to pay off a house. So like, yeah, I feel like that. Like if I broke it down to the smallest amount, because like I sit here and think like 25,000, 50,000. Like I could still see like that's a lot of money, but I could see someone blowing through that pretty quickly. So like $300,000, that would be life changing.
it would be life changing, but it would only be life changing for you, good cat, for about 6 months because that's great. You don't have to pay the mortgage anymore and this and that, but so you don't have a mortgage payment anymore. It could your life is basically going to be exactly the same unless you take that money, whatever it is, $1,500 a month, $2,500 a month that you're paying for your mortgage, and now you take that money and you invest that properly. In 5 years, you're going to be in a tough situation. Not tough. I mean, that's why I say 3 million, because with 3 million, again, 3 million in the wrong person's hand, it's good for 6 months,
Yeah.
and then
Don't
it, and, it, and
pull a Gary Coleman or a MC Hammer.
yeah, and for those who don't know, Gary Coleman and MC Hammer had a lot of money, they lost it, just like the student Susan Powder. If I had 3 million, and I think I am slowly, I see myself like things are moving up financially for me, but it's at a snail's pace. And it's just like, I'm tired of the struggle. I think everyone is tired of the struggle, except any of you who are on the live stream who happen to have, $2 million just sitting in the bank. And if any of you do, I'm happy for you. You're good. That's not me at the moment. Let me just see some
See,
more
I
comments.
think the dream would be to like I think about like Shark Tank. I see these episodes where like Mr. Wonderful, especially like how he always gets these like little increments. And I think about like, oh, if I could invest in companies and I had like 5% here, 5% there, like a dollar royalty every time someone sold something here, or like around here there's a lot of RV parks or parking garages. I mean, to me that's like maintenance goes into those places, and those people, like, every time someone drives in and out, that's another $5, that's another $5. Or, these people are renting at these RV places, so what, you have to dump the sewage and you pay the water and electric, whatever, but then they, or however that works, like that. I just figure, like, these things have to be just money pits.
What in particular? Some of these businesses?
Yeah, I just think about, like, if I could own, like, a parking garage, or if I could own an RV park, or if I, like, on Shark Tank, how
Do you
these
say
guys just,
money pit? You mean a cash cow or a money pit?
or yeah, I'm sorry, cat money pit's
Okay,
bad.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, money pit's bad, cash cow. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the idea of. And the other thing too is, like, with investments, any to some people, if they invest in long-term real estate, it would be a money pit and they would get lost. A lot of people will lose their shirts and they just think they read Rich Dad Poor Dad and they go ahead and do it. You
See,
have to
I think
invest
it's
in something
important
that you
for
know.
I think it's important for everyone to have, like, a minimum wage job at one point, because, like, I've literally made like $15,000 to $20,000 a year, and I've made like $55,000 to $65,000 a year. So I mean, I have survived, and I know, like, there's so many things that we have nowadays, and it's like, well, if you didn't eat out all the time, or if you didn't have this membership, or if you didn't buy that stuff, it's like, live at $10, $15 an hour for a couple of months and see how your life changes, and you'll realize, like, things that are necessary and things that are a luxury.
Hmm. Well, this is also why they say that generation money never survives more than 3 generations, because the first generation is the one that struggles to earn the money. The second generation, the first generation, is able to, and many times, pass on that knowledge. Like the question, look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump is really like, he is the
Sorry, I'm
first.
getting hot. I'm gonna take my sweater off.
Okay, yeah, he's slowly becoming naked. Oh,
No.
good, he's got a shirt on underneath. Okay, good. Uh, but I often wonder, like, look at Donald Trump's wealth. Like his father was not a huge millionaire. Donald Trump really turned it into a billionaire empire. Now he's trained his sons. The question is, will it survive to the Donald Trump's children? Will they end up becoming, because they're growing up in the
I
lack
mean,
of
I
luxury?
feel like certain people do pass their money on, or at least the knowledge of how they got the money. But just because the parents are rich doesn't always mean that the child's going to be. Because back when I was in high school, like, I thought I was set because I was dating this one girl that was like Hawaiian Asian, and her parents were like super loaded. This was like back in early 2000s, millions and millions of dollars. So, like, they were like rich, rich. But the rule of 1,001, so you can be nice 1,000 times, but that 1,001th time, like, this girl, she was a B, and I'm just like, okay, I thought, like, and finally she said something one day, and I was like, well, you can just go, and I was like, yep, and I just put an end to that relationship. But then I found out later on that whenever she was like graduating high school, and she thought she was gonna, like, basically roll into all this, and her dad's like, "No, this is mine and your mom's money. You got to go make your own money."
Which, yeah, and I think a lot of wealthy people do that. They say, like, we're not giving you any of the wealth until you reach 30. You've already had a job. You've done this, blah 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 blah. Pit Maple, just the same question that VPirate responded to. If today's generation decided there's no future due to war, so they don't enter into the financial traps of life, what effect would it have on world banking? That's exactly what happened after World War II. And after World War II, everybody was so scared about, oh my gosh, what if something like this happens again? And they learned to save, and that and in many ways, I think it's a good thing. I think, but the thing is, people don't. No one learns about it. Even if they are scared, they're not scared straight. I mean, most Americans still only have about $500 of savings in the bank, which is
I need to
that's
grab my
frightening.
phone charger from out in the living room.
Yeah, we'll be finishing up probably in about 10 minutes. I got to do a bunch of work, and it's almost been 2 hours
My
here.
dad's still up. Yeah.
Pit Maple, chase contentment, not gold. That's all I know how to. That's all I know how to chase. Pit Maple, is goals. I have no idea where contentment is. It is non-existent in my life. If anyone can chase Pit Maple, if you can tell me how to chase contentment, in fact, if you can figure that out, I think you'll be a very wealthy man. If you could put that down into a book. Oh, look, he took his glasses off. Very good looking once again. Puts those glasses. Did you have your glasses on again and just took them off?
No,
Oh.
I just ran and grabbed my phone charger.
Oh, different. Oh, I'll tell you, when you charge your phone, you become a very sexy man.
Is it the putting it?
I don't know. My dream is to live simple enough to not need $3 million.
You know, even if I did have like a lot of money, I don't think I would live much differently than what I mean. I might, do some like renovations around the house or things on the car. Might buy me a few things, but I don't think I would be like those people that just go nuts. If I was ever, especially in like one of those situations, say you won the lottery and you did win 3 million or $300 million, like my first thing, I'd go out and get me a financial lawyer and like right away and be like, I got this money. Y'all tell me, how do I get this?
Mistake you can make.
Huh?
That's the biggest mistake you can make is go to a financial advisor. That's how Susan Powder lost all of her money, because she said, you know what, I'm going to trust other people. That's how Mike MC Hammer lost his money. That's how Mike Tyson, I think, lost a lot originally.
I mean, what choice do you have though? Like if
the choice is you interview 20 different people. That's one option. And you give each one of them different amounts of money. No, but more importantly, before that, people should be doing this now. Don't wait until you get the money. Right now, when you have no money, read every book on finance that you can. Just look at all the books that I have here. $1 Million here, Managing Property, 9 Steps to Financial Freedom, Think Positive. I'm just trying to think of what other ones here are about finance. I had Rich Dad Poor Dad, but it's in the other room here. I mean, you want to be prepared for the moment when you start getting money. If the money arrives, if you make your 300 million now, it's too late for you to figure out what to do with it. Because
the books that I read are all like historical or we call it like mystery books. Like I actually have a book that I'm reading right now called Moriarty, and it's the story of Sherlock Holmes, but told from like Moriarty's perspective.
That sounds fascinating. Very, very good. Now, let me respond to what somebody said here. Oh yeah, Jamie, my dream is to live simple enough to not need 3 million. That's fine. There is no right or wrong. I just like traveling a lot, and I don't want to be one of those people that has to finagle airline miles and blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, I travel, but like, no, I just want to be able to just pay for the air ticket. I don't need to go first class. Premium economy is really comfortable and more than enough. And if I can just go premium economy and I can go live around the world, this and that. But again, I don't need 3 million either. 3 million is to solve the problem right now because I'm helping my mom and this and that. And I want to just make sure that there is enough money going into my mom that I'm good. I can go live my life again. Like right now, I'm not living my life as free as I would like, and even less so than if I had a child. Because with a child, it's like, shut up, let's go, we're moving, we're doing this, blah blah. You can't do that to an adult.
See, Adam right here has the right idea. He says if you can live off the interest of your investments without touching the principal, then you've made it and you're all set. See that's the kind of thing that I was talking about earlier with like the Shark Tank idea or like RVs and um like parking garages. Like I want to be like invested in stuff to where it's like, oh, every time you sell a product, well, I get $1 of that $5. So you just have like constant money flowing in all the time, or like you have your interest from your investments coming in. So instead of getting paid like once a month and it's a set amount, like you have a constant flow of money that's always like increasing. Like I want to get to that point.
And I think the easiest way to do that is through real estate, because it's very simple. People need places to live. Just buy property and you rent it to them, and then and if you do get them with loans, why do I like 3 million? Because I don't need why like with this DSCR loan, we could put $50,000 down and get a loan for 80%, so 200,000. But the problem is the amount of money coming in, net income after the loan, at the principal, interest, taxes, insurance is paid, is not huge. And so, but if you do that with if you buy at $250,000, all that flat out, all the money that comes in every month is basically after you put aside money for repairs, and you put aside money for a next down payment, boom, that money just goes into your pocket, and you just keep buying more. It's like literally it's the game of Monopoly. You start with a small greenhouse, you get 4 greenhouses, you upgrade, you got a nice red hotel.
Well, talking about real estate and thinking back to my law enforcement time, I wanted to tell you kind of a funny story. Back when I was working there at the prison, like most of the mail that would come through would be like for the office people or the inmates, and they would screen it. Well, there was a day they told me, they're like, "Hey, Stanley, there's someone that has mail for you," and I'm just like, "I got mail. Like, what are you talking about?" And I opened up this letter. It was like, "You owe the government like $4.5 million." I'm like, "What in the world?" And I looked at it closer and it was like, oh no, this is somebody else with the last name Stanley over. And it was funny, this one place that I was working at one time, there was a camp, which there's camps, there's lows, there's mediums, there's highs, and there's maximums. And I would mess with the highs and maximums all the time. But I worked at this one high that had a camp right next to it. And I went out to the camp because I was like, I want to hand deliver this thing. And I mean, at a camp, there is no fence. Like it's literally like a college campus, but it is very like low chill prison sentence. But the guys there know that if they ever mess up, then they get sent to like a low or something. But a lot of times, because of like transfer times, they can't keep them at the camp. So where do they go? They get stuck in the high, and they don't want to be there because now you went from like really low to really high. And a lot of times people end up catching charges in the high, and then they don't actually get to go to a low. It's like a whole thing. But I went out there to the camp, and I was like, "Hey," I was like, "What the hell is this?" And he said that back in the day, he would do these real estate scams where, say, like you're trying to buy a house, I'm trying to buy a house. Say like Adam and Pip and Jamie, we all trying to buy a house. So he's like, "Hey, I got a house for you." He sells it to all 5 of us. Come move-in day, we all show up, and we're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" So then he would go around and do this at like a bunch, like selling the same house to 5 or 6 people, and do like 10 different houses in a city and then move on to the next city. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm here doing federal prison time. I've got all my money overseas. They're trying to get like $4 million out of me, but he's like, in 3 years I'll be out of here. And then he's got like $100 million somewhere that they can't get.
So my advice is don't follow that scheme of selling the same home to 5 people. That's something I would advise you not to do. Oh, our favorite super chatting spammer is here. I am Athena, noting that yes, my guest is bald.
Yeah, I saw
Bald,
that.
bald is beautiful, beautiful. Pit Maple, I think not prioritizing money is the common denominator for happiness isn't the answer.
Bald has its advantages. It makes harder to push your head away, right, Jamie?
Hmm. Wait, so Pit Maple, you're saying prioritizing money is the common denominator for happiness? Is that what you're saying, Pit Maple? Is that if you prioritize money in your life, then you can? Because if that's the case, that's why I'm not happy. I've never once prioritized money in anything that I do. And let me see. Adam says you go to a good, honest financial advisor and learn financial literacy yourself, so you understand what's going on. Yeah, I don't trust financial advisors. Most of them. I'm a financial advisor. I help people with their, but I don't take any commission. I don't trust any financial advisor who's you can get advice from them, but don't you got to know they've got an agenda. You call up New York Life Insurance Company and say, "Hey, where should I put my money?" They're going to say, "All right, we've got a great variable life insurance product here, which gives you both whole life and it gives you a portion that's connected to the stock market." And it's like, well, I want to put some in real estate. What are they going to say? No, real estate, that's risky. You talk to a real estate agent and you say, I could put some money into real estate or I could put some money in the stock market. And they say, look, the stock market is all over the place these days. Definitely put your money in a secure investment like real estate. You talk to somebody who's crypto, who knows crypto and tech. You go, look, real estate, stock market, that was so last year. Don't you want to be a part of the vanguard? Crypto is where it's at. Look what Bitcoin's done in the last. You always got to be, and that's why my investing method, investor, INVESTOR, all those 8 asset classes, that's the safest thing to invest in because you're putting your money everywhere and getting advice from every single advisor in any one of those potential categories. VPirate has something to say. I can see it.
No, I was just thinking with my last job, the 401k there, it was just like a thing where you just put money in and it was the one and done. But like the job that I'm at now with my 401k, you can actually play with it. I guess it's more what they call like an IRA. And I mean, there's a bunch of different funds that I can move it like 100% over to, or I can put like 10% here, 10% there. And I've gone through them all and mixed them up. Is like the one that they had over there was only like a 6% return, but whatever, like, because like I've looked through all the different funds. The fund that mine's at right now is like 25,000 or 25% or something. It's like it's got like a 3 year. It's like a between this time to this time is like 20, and then it drops to like 12, and it has like a step down. But in the year that I've been there already, I've already gotten like $11,000.
That's great. Very good job.
I sit there and I don't mess with it every day, but like every month I'll go in, like, so like say the first of every month I'll go in and I'll look at it and I'm like, okay, is the one that I got it in now, is that still the best one to have it in, or do I need to move it around? And like I have moved it a couple of times, but generally the one that I've had it in now for a while has been growing pretty good. It's been holding around like 18 to 20% interest.
Beautiful. That's very good. Adam says 1 million is good enough if you can earn 10%. That's like getting paid 100,000 a year. I mean, look at it right now. The S&P 500 is getting more than 10% per year. But the problem is, do you really want to put all $1 million of your investable money into the stock market? Very, very risky. That's not a smart move because if the economy, global economy tanks, if another what do you call it, COVID situation happens, boom, and you accounting on that $10,000 a month. Oh, excuse me, like I guess around $8,800 a month. You're in trouble because all of a sudden it's gone. So that's why I would love to just put all of my mom's money and all of my money into the S&P 500. I don't trust that. Just like I don't trust anything. I don't trust crypto 100%. I don't trust real estate 100%, and I definitely don't trust VPirate's goatee 100%. I don't trust it even 3%. Men with goatee like that, very, very suspicious.
I would have it a lot longer if I could. I've cut it before and it'll grow
But
right back to
but
this length and then just stops.
he doesn't even want it longer because he doesn't trust his beard either. Sounds like a pyramid scheme, says Pitt Mabel. FHA loan, 3.5% down, multifamily is okay. That's an option, Adam, absolutely. VPirate, be good. That's right. Adam L, you
I
want
don't
to
know what she's talking about.
Adam L, that's not enough either. An independent financial advisor who's fiduciary. So many people, so many financial advisors consider themselves fiduciaries. All of these insurance reps are quote unquote fiduciaries in the sense that by law they need to consider the client's best interests. But if they're considering the client's best interest, they should be saying, you should also investigate crypto. You should also investigate real estate. You should also investigate this. You should also investigate the other insurance companies that are compete with me, and make sure you get rates. And honestly, if you'd like, I can help you do the planning. And you know what? Mass Mutual is offering a little bit better deal. Why don't I refer you over to that? That's a true
Is
fiduciary.
Bitcoin still a thing? Like I know like when it came out, it was like people were iffy about it, but didn't it
It's
kind of take off?
it's $92,000 now. A year ago it was 35,000. So it is skyrocketed, and there's a very good likelihood that I think it could go above
Yeah,
100,000.
and I feel like now that
Yeah.
Trump's getting back in with the trifecta with him, what they got, the House, the Senate, and the White House now, like, I mean, it's a Republican ball game at this point, and I feel like he did a pretty decent job the first time around, but I feel like he did not have any of the knowledge that would have been helpful, to be a politician. I feel like knowing what he knows now, he's going to do an even better job this next time around. And
100%. He's had 4 years to plan everything and how it's all going to work. And every mistake that he made before, he's not making it again.
Well, I mean, the things that he was facing last time, he's not going to be facing this time because he basically has control of everything. I mean, Democrats can vote no on everything from here on out, and they're still going to lose because we've got the majority on everything. Like this is a Republican ball game at this point. But I mean, it last time around, it doesn't matter. Like Trump could have basically told you the recipe how to turn crap into gold, and the Democrats still would have like fought him on it. And I mean, there's so much more that he wanted to get done, but he couldn't because they were fighting him so much.
Yes,
Trying,
and
trying.
and
We just
and
got some comments in. I was
yeah.
trying to see what JD was saying.
JD, I've never heard of Pi, but I think it's amazing that you're mining this cryptocurrency and you've made $71. If you made $71 and the electrical cost of mining it is significantly lower than $71, then I think you're onto something great. And just make sure that you sell some of it before it drops to 0 or 0.001. Like I said, if I had held on to my Dogecoin back in 2020, when it was really nothing, I would have had about $400,000. Instead, I sold it and got $500. So now, if yeah. So anyway, let me see. Bitcoin could go to 10,000 too, just as fast. It could happen in a week. Bitcoin is high risk, 100%. But it could. I'll just leave it at that. You're right. It could. It could.
Another easy way to earn a little bit of money each month or each week. I don't know if they have plasma things around there where you are. Like I used to live over in Denton. I live out here in Weatherford in Texas now, but I wish they had one out here. But I mean, you go twice a week, and that's $70 a week that you get for donating plasma.
Interesting. I don't like needles, so there's no way I'm doing it. They could give me 200.
Are you one of those type of people that passes out whenever you see a needle?
No, no. I mean, I've taken blood from people. I was a combat lifesaver in Iraq. I had to take blood from people as part of the training course, and this and that, and blood splurting all over the place. So blood doesn't make me squeamish. It's just I don't. I was so many people are poorly trained to take blood that they would just stick me 6, 7 times, and it got to the point where I've gotten so traumatized by it that I don't like it because every time I got my blood taken to the VA a few months ago just for my annual checkup. She
You,
got it.
you could probably see my veins.
You can see mine too. Mine are super huge, but the problem is, like, they're so big that they move, and so someone puts it
Oh,
in.
you got the rolling veins.
Yeah, I've
See, I,
got some.
I have deep veins, but they're big.
So good. But this woman at the VA, she got it first time, and I said, I am so impressed with you. You should get a raise because no one has ever gotten my vein the first time. She goes, of course I'm going to get it the first time. She goes, I know what I'm doing. I said, I wish there were more of you because it seems like there are very few people in the world who
the
know how to
the
get a vein
worst
the
for
first
me
time.
is when someone sticks it in just a little bit and they're like, "Oh, I missed," and they sit there and just like don't fish around. Either get it the first time or move.
Yeah, precisely. And V says, I just wish I invested. We're going to wrap up right now. Just the last two comments, and
All
then
right.
I'm getting tired. V, I just wish I invested in Bitcoin back in 2012. We all would be rich if we did. Well, if everybody invested in Bitcoin back then, we probably wouldn't be rich. I think it's part of it is the fact that there's a small number of people who did it at the time. Adam, I'm one of the passes out not from seeing the needle, but the sensation. Got it. Well, hey, stay strong, Adam. Jamie, I told the nurse at the ER that the other day she was awesome. Good job, Jamie. I'm glad that she did well. And JD Lily says that's crazy, Adam. So hey, guys,
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna.
know you're getting tired, and I'm getting tired too. I already took my nighttime meds. I want to say thank you for having me on tonight. And if there's anything else that you'd like to say or ask, or if anybody else in the feed, we got 9 people here. Before Monroe and I go, if you have anything for Monroe or myself.
Yeah, he took the words right out of my mouth. That's usually what I say is thank you for my guest for coming here. And I will give you the last word, VPirate. I just want to say, if any of you are interested, please subscribe to the channel. If you're new and you haven't, would really love the support. You can always give a super thanks to any of my other videos. if you'd like to support the channel that way. More importantly, if you'd like to become a member, it's youtube.com/Monroe Mann/join, JOIN. And through that, you can get access to member first videos, member only videos, member only live streams, all that stuff. And yeah, and I guess that's basically it. Don't be surprised if you see lots of other things on here. It's not just guests. We do music, comedy, improv, and stuff I do on this channel. And VPirate, what are your final parting words?
Well, guys, if you're not subscribed to Monroe here, you definitely should subscribe already. Try to like and share this thing whenever you can. We appreciate y'all's comments in here. I try to comment as much as I can when I'm here. I'm so happy to finally get to be a guest. It's been great talking with you, Monroe.
Likewise.
Um, you really have to support the people that you see here on YouTube. He's trying to make it. I've been there in that struggle before. I mean, the cost of a coffee, people go and they buy McDonald's, whatever, just, show some love, give him, $1, $2, $5, it doesn't have to be 100 or 500. I mean, I'm sure he would take it if you want to give him 500. He,
I
he would,
mean, fine. I
if
will.
that's
I
what you
would.
have to do. But, just, I mean, $5, it's not much, but that $5 helps, and it increments and adds on, and it helps, these people feel like they're actually making a difference, so, I mean, help each other out, and, stay strong, and just know that you guys are not alone. Monroe, you're not alone. We're all here for each other, and I love to see you guys next time.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Maybe
much,
maybe sometime
VPirate.
I can get to see Jamie's pretty face.
Yeah, I don't think Jamie wants to be a guest on here, but she's
Mm.
she's always open. And by the way, thanks for the reminder. If any of you do want to be considered as a guest, go to YouTubeGuests.com. That's guests with an S, plural. YouTubeGuests.com. Jamie, great to see you too. Thank you, and you're welcome, Jamie. It's always a pleasure to have you here. V, thank you so much as well. And JD Leader, great, good night. Adam Monroe says, I'm in the process of starting a travel club. Would you be willing to come on the show? And you would be willing to come on. You'd be willing to come onto my YouTube to talk about your travel club. How does that
I'd
help
be willing
me?
to go on your channel to promote my channel.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing ever. I don't know. I think maybe he said that as a joke.
I mean,
I think he was telling that as a joke. So that very, very, very funny, Adam. Guys, thank you so much. Adam, if you want to submit
why not?
something, explain why this would be entertaining for people. Obviously, you can't come on here just to promote something that you're doing. But if you think we have a nice chat about travel and things like that, and this, that, and if you can get me, if I get VIP treatment, like I get a free air ticket every year, now we're talking. Make me an offer I can't refuse. James says the anxiety I would feel being a guest. Yeah, cheers, Pit Maple. Great to see you as always. VPirate, thank you for joining me. And guys, great to see you. I hope you all have a great night. It's been lovely.
All right.
Bye.
Good night, guys.